One of the most surprising things about one of the most surprising things about getting diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 41 is the amount of anger I would feel. I had been in online entrepreneurship since 2014 when I joined an MLM. I joined Jamberry. It was the only thing that worked to stop me from stimming by biting my nails, and that lasted for like 2 hours. 2 hours, 2 years, until I hit a rough patch of stress and thought I didn't need the nail wraps anymore. Went and got a gel manicure, and that gel manicure I was able to take off with my teeth. And that was like the end of me being able to not bite my nails. The fact that that lasted for 2 years is amazing. And I wish I can go back to that, but I can't. But I was not prepared for the amount, the sheer experience of all the anger I felt because I had been an online entrepreneur, like I said, since 2014. Separate of MLM, it was since 2015. That's when I started the Right Diva Productions, which was going to be a book writing thing, etc. And it just became a catch-all for everything. But anyway, so that's when I started, and I got my very first coach in 2015. And this was the first time I really saw Black women, especially, making money. But they all didn't look like me. We shared skin color, but the way that they showed up was not a way that I wanted to or even knew how to show up. Like they would do the cut crease, like the eyeshadow, the lipstick, the heavy foundation, the jewelry, the lace fronts. They would have it all, and I wasn't interested in any of it. One, because I don't like things on my face. And at this time, I was completely undiagnosed with ADHD. I suspected that I had it, but no doctor would diagnose me. They would only say depression or anxiety. Oh my God, I was so angry at them too. 20 years, over 20 years, I tried to get that diagnosis, the right one. And the medical community is still doing a travesty to Black people, especially Black women, because they're telling Black women that they have bipolar disorder or personality disorder or are narcissists. And it just plays right into angry Black woman trope. Instead of letting Black women get real help, they slap on this diagnosis that is so hard to accept for people, and just really, from what I've seen of people diagnosed with it, it really was one that they struggled with because it meant that they had a flaw, a major flaw. And for people to find out later that it was ADHD, they too felt that anger. So if you are angry at your misdiagnosis, um, I'm going to tell you it's okay. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to wonder what life would have been like had you had real help, real support. But instead, people decided that they will label you however they felt like. Like, I am currently seeking an autism evaluation, not even diagnosis, evaluation. I'm like 99.9% sure that I am ADHD, but that point one hinges on a diagnosis. But like, I check all the lists and I've done the assessments and I'm there, but I can't get one. Like, the medical community decided they want to make people pay through their ear for it. It's over $2,000 just to get the evaluation. It's crazy. Um, but I was not prepared for that anger. When I finally got the diagnosis, when I finally got a therapist who, not a therapist, a psychiatrist who heard me and listened, the grief came first. The grief came first. The whole who would I have been, that came first. But y'all, the anger burned for over 2 years because I had paid these coaches thousands of dollars, thousands of dollars. I've gotten a couple of 5K coaching programs and like their communities are telling you, and it's not just their community, it's the online entrepreneurship community, would be like sleep when you're dead, team no sleep, hustle and grind. If you're not hustling, you don't want it. One particular person who has a platform is telling people that they cannot watch TV if they're making under a few thousands of dollars a month. You shouldn't be watching a sports game. And, he's a highly respected speaker. And he says a lot of things that are of value. But that one comes from, I don't know. I want to say Boomer Town because it does come from a time in which your productivity is your value. But I don't think that's just boomers. I just think they're the ones who will not allow people to be human. Because there's one thing to believe in God, and I do strongly, strongly believe in God. There's one thing to believe in God, but there's another thing to act like one. I think I'm going to leave it at that. You probably noticed I only have one earring. I lost the other one, and I don't know where. And as you see, I'm stimming, I'm twirling my hair. Anyway, I wasn't ready for the anger because I realized two things: how much the community hurt me and hurt people like me, and how much I allowed them to hurt me by not standing up for myself. So, if you are seeking a diagnosis, if you're a person who has been an entrepreneur and you feel like there's something that just stands in the way of you achieving the goals that you want, or if you feel like you have imposter syndrome, you have a plethora of achievements, but you still don't feel valuable enough. If taking a nap feels like a sin, one, honey, you got a lot of work to do. Not just in getting a diagnosis, but in unlearning this culture. Because as a believer in God, one thing that I will not allow someone else to tell me is that God made a mistake with me. I strongly believe neurodivergency is at least 50% of the population. Many of us are just walking around feeling like we don't belong. We're the black sheep of our family. We don't think the way other people do. We question authority, especially when authority is dumber than we are. We need to know why we're doing something. And it's not just because I said so. And nobody gets to tell you what a real entrepreneur is, because by default, that would be a neurodivergent person. Conformity is not our strong suit. Many of us will not die in a 9 to 5. Not that they're bad, but that we can't conform to what is expected. Having done those things for over 20 years, I hurt me. My health faltered and at many times failed. If I could not tell that I had appendicitis and thought it was just because I didn't want to go to work, that's a problem. If I would get to work early and sit in the parking lot until I was late, that's a problem. If walking out the door on time sends me rushing to the bathroom, that's a problem. And if after work is done and you drive home, you sit in your car for 2 to 3 hours zoning out, that's a problem. This is not normal, and it should not be. And when you realize who you are and how you were made, you get to put up boundaries. So many of us are not made for that, right? First of all, 9 to 5 is way out of our circadian rhythm. And being a high school teacher was even worse because I had to be there at 7. And so obviously that never happened. Um, it's really time for workplaces to catch up with reality. 10 to 6 or 4-hour work weeks or something different, because we're no longer an agricultural society. Allowing for remote work, not forcing people back into office, letting people choose which one they're going to do. Or at least when you put out a job, it is this one's in office and this one is remote. Like, it needs to be very, very clear. You can bond online and in person. Energy is energy. So, how did I get over the anger? I had to consciously choose it. I had to know that a lot of this was my fault because I allowed people to overstep natural boundaries, even though I wasn't aware of those boundaries. My body would respond. Like, there would be like a jerk in my gut or my intuition. I would hear like whispers of like, no, don't. Or somebody asked me a question and my first response would be no in my head, but my mouth would then say yes because I logicked my way into thinking I had to. Your emotional body is often the most correct. Our heart has brain matter. Our heart has neurons. It is the thing that starts first when we are conceived, and it feeds and gives life to the brain. Our heart is on equal status with our brain, and to continue to ignore the way that you feel, your intuitive responses, is going to find you in a bad situation, either health-wise, mentally, emotionally, and yes, even spiritually. So, if you find yourself with a diagnosis and you find yourself going through those cycles of grief, allow them and also take responsibility for your role in it, for allowing people to overstep your boundaries, for allowing people to define and redefine who you are. And the way you're going to get over that beyond just doing that is to forgive yourself for what you didn't know and understand that you had the tools that you had. You couldn't be expected to do more with them if you didn't know there was more you could do with them. And then use your boundaries, keep them, and start working to improve your life. Start doing things that are fun again. Start doing things that don't have any productivity value to them that people can perceive. Take a nap during the day. An hour and a half is perfectly fine. Reset your energy, reset your day. And when you don't have the spoons or the bandwidth to learn more, do more, be more, take the day off. Use your PTO. If you're an entrepreneur that's working for yourself, schedule your rest because rest is productive. And if you find yourself being angry, feel it. Use it to do something different. I hope this helps you because even in sharing it with you, it helps me. If you would like to have more conversations, you know where to find me. And if you want to be reminded that there are conversations, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification, and like this video so other people can find it as well. And always, girl, use your voice. Be blessed.